Beth Powney is the regional team leader of the Eastern Baptist Association. The EBA covers Norfolk, Suffolk, Cambridgeshire and Essex and has over 170 churches in its family network, of which Burlington is a part. So Beth, thanks so much for joining us. And with your oversight and knowledge of a huge spectrum of churches, what do you think is the real question that we should be asking at this time?
Well, thank you for inviting me, Simon. It's just a fascinating subject to play with and toy with. And ever since you asked to have this chat with me, I've just had two words going around my brain. So I share those, which is about being brave and courageous. And I almost hesitate to share those at this point when we're all so tired. And I could almost hear people saying, oh, will you just stop telling me to be brave? You know, I'm worn out. I just want to go back to my comfort blanket of what church used to be. And I get all of that. I totally understand it. But I remember being at a conference at the beginning of 2020. Yeah, before COVID, there was life. And one of the speakers saying he felt he had a word from God, which was about in 2020, we needed to be more courageous and kinder. And then within 6 weeks of that conference, we were in lockdown because of COVID. And I played with those words and thought, my word, that was a word from the Lord. And I actually think this being brave, how brave are we prepared to be? How brave are we prepared to go and be in the uncomfortable places? Because that's where actually the people who have been desperately seeking some kind of authenticity and security and love and compassion throughout this last 18 months and are perhaps tentatively looking to the Christians, looking to the church, looking to what expression of love you have in your community, and tentatively looking, but we're kind of expecting them to come to us and knock on our door. But how brave are we prepared to be to go where they are and to dwell in their space? To, you know, cross the River Jordan to where the giants and the nasty people are, in inverted commas, and go and live in their space and be brave in the power of the Holy Spirit to live out Jesus. And as soon as I say these words, I'm like, oh my goodness, could I do that? So it's a challenge to me as much as to anyone else. I haven't got this sorted, but I somehow feel that potentially we might have missed a trick. I was out walking with my husband down by the river in Thetford last week. And I have so much contact with churches about, oh, how we meet back in the building, how are we going to do this, and when are we going to sing? And I said to him, I'm so concerned, we'll just go back to what was when we've been given the most incredible opportunity to birth something new. So that's kind of what's on my mind.
That's wonderful and so helpful and insightful, that at this particular moment of all moments, to be brave and courageous. A couple of tips can you leave us with that might help us to lean into being a bit braver and a bit more courageous?
Well, I suppose it's simple things like, you know, have you been part of a WhatsApp group with your community in this last 12 months? Have you just got to know a neighbour better in this last 12 months? Don't retreat back into your house. Keep that relationship going somehow. As people get busier, try not to let the busyness take away from perhaps something that began to birth. Or choose not, dare I say this to a church minister, choose not to do a church activity so that you can actually be in a place of activities where your community is doing something, so that you actually can be Jesus in that place.
That's what I was thinking as you were saying. It's certainly attainable, but brave and courageous, but does sound more like Jesus, the kind of thing that he'd be getting up to. Beth Powney, thank you so much indeed.
You're welcome, Simon. Thank you.